Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Shivoham and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic that each and every one goes through, even me myself. And today's topic is all about what do you do when you hit a plateau while you're training. Now you got to understand, first thing, the body's main priority is to survive. It will do anything to come back into balance and to adapt. And for that to change, we need to make sure that we push our bodies by small steps every single time. Whether it's changing repetitions, whether it's changing weight, whether it's playing around with the rest period, it can be anything. But you need to push your bodies tiny little bit. Remember, not big sudden movements, but small movements at a time so that the body has the ability to change, get uncomfortable, familiarize itself, and then adapt. And again, before it becomes too comfortable again, that's when we start changing again. So let's talk today about what do you do, few ways that you can change your training and you can again get back to your goals, especially when you hit that plateau. The first thing that you can do is efficiency. The correct technique and form is the number one priority. Don't be in a rush and take your time with each and every rep and make it worth it. You can lift heavier and do more reps, but if none of those reps are 100% up to the mark, then what's the point? The workout won't be as efficient as you think, and you can be in the gym the whole day for 365 days a year, and yet you won't see a transformation. So remember that efficiency is the key. Next, we hit tempo. What does tempo really mean? Tempo basically means playing around with the speed of your movements of the lifts. Once you've achieved efficiency in all your lifts and the movements, whether freehand or weighted, now you can start playing around with the tempo. The ideal time of tempo is roughly anywhere between 1 to 5 seconds in each phase of the lift. Once again, this is just a number out there, but you can play around with the time as and when you feel more comfortable. Spending more time on the tension will put more stress on the muscle, and therefore it will force it to grow and get stronger. Use a heavy weight which is not too heavy, and you can achieve at least 8 to 10 repetitions and roughly do it for 60 to 90 seconds, taking into consideration that each rep is taking you between 6 to 8 seconds. A good way to judge this, or a good way to see this, is what you do is force 8 repetitions or 10 repetitions, do 6 to 8 seconds on each of the movements and see how long it takes. Once you've seen that, okay, it's taken you anywhere between 60 seconds to 90 seconds, now what you can also do is, keeping that time frame in mind, you can either subtract weight, go slower, or you can add weight and do it at the same speed. Remember, most important thing over here is to understand your body. Okay, everybody's going to respond very differently to efficiency, very differently to the tempo. Some people are made of really high amount of fast twitch fibers, some are made of really high amount of slow twitch fibers, and because of this particular thing, the efficiency or the strength of a particular movement is going to vary. So depending on how you feel, the idea is to be aware of what your limits are and then try and push your limits every single time. But remember, tempo means speed, go slow. But again, slow is not the only way to go. You can also be explosive and play around with plyometric movement. When it comes to freehand, doing plyometric push-ups, doing box jumps, doing broad jumps, doing double unders, these help a lot, especially when it comes to weights. You all have heard of Olympic lifting, the clean and jerk and snatch. All right, a clean and jerk and snatch is probably one of the movements which generate the most power because they move through a big range of motion, also in the quickest amount of time. So over here, there's no way that you're going to be lifting for 6 to 8 seconds, but it's literally a matter of a second. So there are some movements and sometimes during the workout where you can perform repetitions really slow, and then there are some times where you can go explosive and ballistic and do movements like clean and jerk and snatch and get that explosive in. So remember, tempo means slow and fast and playing with everything in between. Next is range of motion. Range of motion plays a very important role in stressing the muscle, but also in making sure that we keep the joints flexible and healthy. You can increase the depth of the squat and increase the depth of the push-up by putting your hands on a platform or using dumbbells. Alright, so-called the deep push-ups. Remember, work done equals force times distance. So if you want to end up doing more work, of course the force that you're using is the same, but now you will increase the distance. So when you keep the force, which is the weight, constant and now increase the distance, automatically you are increasing the amount of work done, therefore putting more stress on the muscle. So range of motion is a very important aspect of breaking plateaus while training. But again, like we said, what you really need to keep in mind when you're working with range of motion, and range of motion will only be efficient if you have good range of motion in your joints. So always starting with a good mobility program, alright, stretching those muscles out, mobilizing those joints is very important. Someone who's got really tight hips or really tight hamstrings is going to find it very difficult to increase the range of motion when it comes to squats. And using weights and forcing yourself to go below that comfortable range of motion might end up in an injury. So you need to make sure, again, everything comes down to this, people. Everything comes down to being aware of your body. So you need to make sure that first you mobilize, get those joints moving. In the initial part, you might not be able to go as low, but that's absolutely fine. But with time, when your mobility program gets better, when your joints get healthier and the range of motion increases, automatically you will be able to push yourself a little bit further away than where you started. So remember, first mobilize, warm up properly, do a little bit of flexibility stuff for your joints and your muscles, and then get into this aspect of breaking the plateaus in your training. Next is repetitions. Repetitions again play a very important part when it comes to volume and work done. Alright, so using a moderately heavy weight, aim for, I would say, around 30 reps. 6 to 8 reps put more stress on the nervous system, and we want to avoid stressing the nervous system. We don't want to burn out. We want to go for the muscular system. So I would say 30 reps is ideal, especially when you're doing it at light weight. Also remember that when we're playing with range of motion, the reason why I'm saying 30 reps is because we also want to work on the muscle endurance part. All our life we've around trained from 6 reps to 8 reps to maximum 12 reps. 30 reps can do a lot of different damage. What you also want to try and do is in that 30 reps, as the weight gets heavy or you get tired, you're allowed to take a break, maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then come back and start the set again. This too will stress the muscle and will definitely cause growth. Again, remember, with the range of motion, all these numbers are just written on a piece of paper, but they don't, it's like it's not the only thing which is true. Okay, they're not carved into stone. So what you need to do is, again, play around from anywhere between 15 reps, 20 reps, 25 reps. You can even go up to 30, 35 reps, not a problem. But at the end of the set, you should feel like you've given everything to that particular set to, again, make sure that you get everything out of your training. All right, so repetitions play a very important role. So pay attention to them, pay attention to the weight, and I promise you, incorporating this into your training will also help you break that plateau when it comes to training. Then we have rest periods. Rest periods also are a very important part of breaking plateaus. You can shock the body and the muscle by creating a metabolic effect, which means that you're playing around with the 3 energy pathways, which are ATP, glycogen, and aerobic. By playing around with rest period between your sets, you can cause a stress on the muscles too. For your major strength lifts like your deadlifts, squats, bench press, overhead press, and Olympic lifts, I would say take anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes rest, or else the body won't recover and you won't be able to push for the next set. Keep the heavy sets in range of 4 to 6 reps. Also for the smallest lifts like your bicep, tricep, delts, I would say take anywhere between 1 minute to 90 seconds rest and keep the rep ranges from 12 to 15 reps. Playing around with rest periods will definitely shock the body and cause growth in the muscles. What you need to also understand over here with the rest period is that sometimes when you're doing a circuit kind of work and you want to keep up the intensity of the workout, then you just want to go all out, which means minimal rest. You can even pair up 5 to 6 different exercises. Take minimal rest between exercises. Once the set is done, then I would say probably go for 2 minutes, 90 seconds to 2 minutes of rest, depending on how your body feels. There are days when you feel great and there are days when you won't feel so great. You need to be aware of this and you need to push yourself once you are aware of that. I know that there are some days when I don't like to take any rest, and I probably finish what I would usually finish in an hour. I would probably finish that in 30 minutes because I just like to go non-stop. On those particular days, my strength is also pretty good and I'm able to push some really heavy weight. And again, depending on how I feel, I might either increase the weight or I might keep the weight constant. So rest also has a lot to play with how you're feeling on that particular day. Maybe you've really had a good sleep, your morning's gone well, you've had a good pre-workout meal, you're in a good mood and you're all fired up. So if your program says 90 seconds, but when you get to the gym and you feel like you just need 30 seconds, go for it. And then again, of course, there are days when you've not slept properly, your day's not going as planned and you're really tired, but you don't want to miss your workout. On those days, if you've written 1 minute and you need to take 2 minutes of rest, go for it. All right. The body's not going to punish you. The world is not going to punish you. No one is going to punish you for changing a few things around. This just means that you are aware of how your body is feeling, and this just means that you have the capability to listen to your body. In the long run, this is what matters the most, and listening to your body is going to help you. And trust me, besides whatever I've just told you, listening to your body is going to be the first key element in breaking plateaus when you're training, because you will know when you're getting stronger. You will know when you're tired. You will know when you've reached the limit, and that's when you push yourself to the next step. If you thought this video was informative and you got to learn something new from it, then please do like, share, and also I would love to know what your comments are. So put your comments down and we'll definitely communicate from there. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon in my next video. Till then, take care, have a beautiful day, stay healthy and stay happy.